So let's do a little centering so I can kind of get back on track and know what to do with you guys this morning. So if you want to bring your feet right underneath your knees and come right up to the front of your chair and let the tripods of your feet, you all know your tripods, right? The big and little toe knuckle and then the heel. So you want to make sure you keep the tripods on the floor. Pressing down into your feet, lengthen through your spine so you can feel your sitting bones on the chair. Notice if you're kind of leaning forward a little bit, if you can kind of sit up. So your shoulders should be stacked over your hips and your head should just be kind of relaxed on top of your shoulders. And then if it's comfortable, close your eyes. And if it's not comfortable for you to have your eyes closed, drop your gaze down at the floor. So what we're trying to do is just shut out all of the visual distractions. And we can be very easily distracted with things that we see. And just notice what it feels like to start to come into this place of stillness, right? So we were in a lot of activity beforehand. And that transition into stillness can take a moment. It might feel a little weird in your body right now. You might feel a little antsy or a little agitated. So one way to deal with that is to just feel the contact between your feet and the floor. Feel the muscles in your legs. If you press into your feet, you can feel the muscles in your legs tighten up a little bit. And then notice where your hands are making contact with your body. So are they resting on your lap? Are they on your knees? Are they nested one inside the other? And what does that feel like? What's the quality of the contact between the palms of your hands and whatever surface you're touching? And then if you press into your hands a little bit, just pressing down or pressing them together if your hands are together, notice the muscles in your arms, how they activate. And then draw your awareness into your neck and your shoulders. And notice if your shoulders are up by your ears, can you drop your shoulders down a little bit? And is your jaw tight? Are your upper teeth and lower teeth in contact with each other? What if you could create some space there, just bringing the upper teeth and lower teeth apart? And if that means you need to open your mouth a little bit, that's okay too. So just letting the jaw relax. And then turn your attention to your breathing and notice the way air moves in and out of your body. Can you breathe in and out through your nose? Or do you need a little auxiliary help with your mouth? And also see if you can discern, are you using your mouth as an auxiliary or is it just a habit? So a lot of us just have the habit of breathing through our mouths. What would happen if you switched so that you're breathing just through your nose? So if your mouth is open, closing your mouth so that you're kind of forced to breathe in and out through your nose. And again, if you've got a breathing issue, if you've got some sort of obstruction in your breathing, you want to make sure that you're comfortable and you're able to feel like you're getting a full breath. So if that means you need that auxiliary mouth, breathing through your mouth, then you should do that. So as you're watching the air move in and out of your body, begin to purposefully deepen your breath. Pulling the breath all the way in, filling your body like your body's a balloon. So you can feel that expansion in your ribs, the sides of your waist, your belly, maybe even in the back of your body. And when you exhale, notice how the expansion turns into a little gentle contraction. So breathing in and expanding the whole body, and breathing out and contracting. And as you're watching your breath, as you're having this deepening breathing, turn your attention to your thoughts and the activity in your mind. So aside from just noticing your thoughts, noticing how many thoughts there are or how few, also notice the quality of your thoughts. About 90% of our thoughts are just kind of minutia. It's like the grocery list. Very few of our thoughts are really deep and profound. And many of us tend to worry or fixate on something in particular. So notice if that's the case for you this morning. And you don't have to change anything about that. It's just the noticing that changes it. When you don't notice it, you're kind of at the end of the whip. Your thoughts are in control. But when you notice, you take control. You can choose to let a thought go. You can choose to hold on to it. You might imagine your thoughts like fish in an aquarium. So if you're standing in a big aquarium and you're watching the fish swimming by, those are all your thoughts. So you can watch one or two, and then they sort of disappear from view. Others come in. And the quality of your thoughts can be like the different kinds of fish. So some might be kind of big and toothy, a little scary. Some might be small and bright, a little more fun. It's all part of that big aquarium in your mind. So as you're noticing your thoughts, also notice that your body has continued to breathe. And your hands and feet have continued to make contact with whatever surface they're making contact with. Take in a nice full deep breath, let it out with a sigh. Let your eyes gently open. And then just roll your shoulders a couple of times. You can even turn your head a little bit from side to side or up and down. Just noticing what that gentle movement feels like in your body this morning. And then turn your head all the way to the right. And pull that right shoulder back and pull the left shoulder forward a little bit. And then bring your head back to center and your shoulders back to center. And then you're just going to turn your head to the left and then just pull the left shoulder back and the right shoulder forward. Breathing in, breathing out. Then coming back to center. Do the same thing on each side again. So turning your head to the right. Just take that right shoulder. See if you can pull it back just a little bit. Inhale and exhale, and then come back to center and left side. So just turning the head and then just taking that shoulder back and back to center. Good. So let's take the arms out to the sides, and we're just going to start by turning the arms one way and then the other. So we're just rotating the arms, really gentle. Make sure your arms are lower than, or your hands rather, are lower than your shoulders. So you don't want to have your arms way up here. You want to have them down a little bit. And then we're going to take this on a little bit of a movement. So as you're twisting the arms like this, you're going to bring the arms all the way down. Right? And then up to about shoulder height. Maybe a tad lower. And keep breathing. And we'll keep making this movement all the way down. So it's like a little corkscrew with the arms. And we're going up and going down. And notice, are your hands moving in the same direction? Are they kind of synced up with each other? Hopefully so. Okay. And then see if you can get them out of sync. So can you turn one hand one way and one hand the other way as you move up and down? Oh. That's a little harder, right? Yeah, it's a little hard on the shoulders. It's hard on the brain, right? The brain is saying, what the heck is this? Right? So notice if that changes the quality of the movement in your body, right? So sync it up again, right? And feel how smooth that is. So breathing in, breathing out, right? Smooth movement, going up, going down. And then try and get it out of sync. And notice if the movement gets a little jerky, right? It's a little out of sync there. It's a little unbalanced. Ooh, lots of concentration. Excellent. Okay, and then let's just sync it up for just a moment, just maybe 1 or 2 movements up and down. And you don't have to like really crank on your arms. We're just kind of warming things up a little bit. Okay, and then let the arms come down, shake it out a little bit. And then we're just going to bend the elbows, tap the shoulders. So we're just warming up those elbow joints a little bit here. So again, breathing in, breathing out, super easy, not a lot of effort here. Just moving. Feel how fluid this is as well. And then see if you can get this out of sync, right? So you have 1 up and 1 down, right? 1 up and 1 down. Pretty easy. So it's a good way to get those elbow joints working this morning. All right. And then we're just going to stop that. Bring the arms at sort of parallel like you're holding a tray. And we're just going to circle the wrists. Right? So circling the wrists. And reverse direction. Good. And notice your wrists are probably circling in the same way, right? And now see if you can mix that up. So the wrists are going a little wacky from each other, right? You might have to think about it. Oh, I'm going this way on this side and this way on this side. Oh, that's kind of weird, right? Notice your shoulders want to get involved, right? Everybody wants to get in on the fun. Can you switch that? Not happening. Okay. Just pretend it's all good. Everybody's symphony is a little different. All right, and then shake that out a little bit. Excellent. Let's take the fingers. So we're going to go right up to the fingers. So again, just a real gentle open and closing of the fists, right? Notice how that's working this morning. How are the fingers feeling? There might be some noise in there, a little crunching, snapping, crackling. That's pretty normal for little finger joints. Good. Everybody went from really boisterous to very quiet. So interesting. All right, and then we're going to extend and let's just circle the thumbs. Thumbs are unique. They can do this little movement, right? And then the first fingers, and then the second fingers, third fingers, fourth fingers. Good, let's shake that all out. All right, we're going to go right into the lower body here. Same thing. So we're just going to take the right leg out, and we're going to start by pointing and flexing the foot. So real simple, we're just kind of warming up the joints here. Notice that ankle joint, how that feels. And what about if we start to circle that around? You can do this with the heel on the floor, you can do it with the heel off the floor. Notice the direction that you're circling and then switch it up. You got a bunch of movement going on there. And then heel on the floor, and then see if you can move just from the foot. Now, usually when we do this, we do the whole lever, right, all the way up to the hip. So I'm going to ask you to see if you can move just from the ankle in and out. If you see your knee moving like this, you're coming too far up the chain. So you want to keep your knee straight. Don't let your knee move. You're just moving your foot kind of in and out. A little more limited in your range, right? Okay. And then let's do the same thing on the other side. So bend that knee. We're going to start just by pointing and flexing the left foot. So with the left leg extended, pointing and flexing. Getting some movement there in the ankle joint. And a little circling. Noticing the direction that you're circling. You can switch that up. You can do that with the heel on the floor or off the floor. And then heel comes down on the floor, leg is nice and long, and we're just going to move from the ankle. So kind of in and out a little bit. And you'll notice when you do this that as you come in, your foot kind of turns in a little bit. It's like the sole of your foot is going toward the inside of your body, and then the sole of your foot's going toward the outside of your body. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's kind of the movement here. That's unique to the foot in the lower leg. Excellent. And then we'll stop that and bring that foot to the floor and coming up to the knee. So we're going to take the foot way back underneath the chair, and then we're going to come forward and extend the leg. And then we're going to bend the knee, slide the foot way back under the chair, and then come forward and extend the leg. So bringing the foot under, way, way back. Like you could touch the back of the chair. I'm going to just hold on to mine because I feel like I'm sliding off my heel here. And then we're going to come forward and extend. So this is a little different than what we normally do, right? So usually I have you try and kick the bottom of your chair. Now I'm having you try and reach the back of your chair. So go way back there, right? Take that foot, go way back as far as you can. Good. Just a couple more. So we're getting a little hip action as well as knee action. All right, one more. And then foot comes to the floor. Same thing on the other side. So start by taking that foot way back, the left foot way, way back. And then slide it forward and extend. And slide it way under and extend. So it's like you could reach the back of the chair, the back legs of the chair. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. Couple more. Really feeling that in the leg, right? Hopefully. Okay, that's more than a couple more, isn't it? I think, yeah. Let's put that foot back on the floor. All right, so let's take the right leg and we're just going to drop it out to the side. Actually, you know what? Come over to the right side of your chair. It's always easier when the part outside of your hip is a little bit off the chair. So drop the knee out and then we're going to bring it in. So you might want to have your foot maybe 18 to 24 inches away from the other foot so that you don't have your knee kind of bang into the other knee. We're just kind of going in and out. So we're rotating, right now we're rotating the femur, that's the upper leg bone, in the hip socket, right? Because this is your hip, by the way. Where your leg bone comes into the socket, that's your hip. This is not your hip. This is not your hip. This is your pelvis. That's your hip. So when you have a hip replacement, they don't replace this. They just replace the top part where the leg comes in. Why am I talking about hip replacements today? I have no idea. It's just thinking about it. So the next time your knee comes out to the side, see if you can pull the knee as far away from the other knee as possible. So you're really activating the muscles here in the outer part of the hip and the outer part of the leg, and come up on the little toe side of that foot. So as you come up on the little toe side of the foot, see if you can lift the inside of the foot. You know that movement we were just doing with just the ankle? We're just trying to do that same little movement here. So come up, how far can you ride up on that little toe side of the foot? Can you get the first knuckle off the floor? Can you get the second knuckle off the floor? Can you get all the knuckles off the floor except the last one? That can be really challenging. And then bring that foot back down, take a little rest here, and then press down into your tripod, right? So your big toe knuckle, your little toe knuckle, and your heel. And you're going to pull the knee back again, but don't let the big toe knuckle come off the floor. So this time we're pulling back, but we're not letting the big toe knuckle come off the floor. A little different feeling, right? So it's kind of a push-pull. You can feel that push-pull. And then relax that. Good. Let's switch over to the other side. So just a little bit of that left hip off the chair kind of helps. Bring your feet 18 to 24 inches apart and then just kind of rocking the leg in and out. In and out. Good. Most of us have an easier time with the knee coming in and not so easy a time with the knee coming out. That's pretty normal. Okay. So the next time that your knee comes out, so that means like moving away from your body, away from the midline, see if you can come up, if you can ride up on the little toe side of the foot. And how many knuckles, how many toe knuckles can you get off the floor? Can you get them all off the floor except that you're on the side of the last one? So some people are going to get just a few off the floor. Maybe, oh, maybe I can get 1, 2, and 3, but I can't get the last 2 off the floor. Or maybe I can only get 1 off the floor. So breathing in, breathing out. And then relax that and bring the foot back down. Press into your tripod on that side. Press down nice and strong. So you want to have, you're not just letting the foot lie there. You're actually engaging. You're actually pressing down into the tripod. And now pull that knee out and don't let the big toe knuckle come up off the floor. So that has a whole different feel to it. Breathing in, breathing out. And then relax that. Good. Let's come back to center. Okay, from center, we're just going to come up on the toes and then down. And just up and down a few times. So this is another little movement for the ankles. We can do this in this fashion. We can add a little bit of challenge to this. So next time your heels are down, I'm going to bring my feet out a little bit. What I'm going to have you do is come forward and put your elbows on your lap. Yeah, so we're going to have a real heart-to-heart talk here. Right? That's what it seems like. I got a big secret to tell you. So now we're going to come up on the toes and press down into your elbows. Right? So you're using your body weight. So this is like lifting a little bit of weights here. So you're coming up and down. And then let's make it even a little bit more challenging. So how about if we just come up on the right? And then just on the left. Good. And then the right and the left, and we're just going to go from side to side a few times here. So press down into your elbows. So use your body weight here, right? Imagine you could it's not just the weight of your body, you're actually trying to press down into your legs. So you're trying to create more challenge here. Just a couple more of these. So it's like a little bit of marching. Okay, and then you can leave your feet on the floor and you're going to come all the way up. Excellent. So we're going to leave the feet come back to the upper body and we're going to go back to the hands for a moment. So take your right hand, and we're going to take that right hand and just make a little hook, right? And then from here, so keep your shoulder nice and low. So you don't want to create a lot of tension in your body. So from the hook, make a little fist. And then from your little fist, you're going to extend to a little shelf. So you can see there's like 90 degrees here. So it's like a little shelf. Everybody got this? Anybody breathing? Okay, good. All right. And now you're going to take your little shelf and collapse it down. Bring your fingers as close to your wrist as they'll go. And then come all the way up. All right. So hook, fist, shelf, lower the shelf, and come all the way up. Hook, fist, shelf, lower the shelf, and come all the way up. Got that? Hook, fist, shelf, lower the shelf, and come all the way up. Excellent. Right hand did a great job. Give yourself a hand. Right hand. Left hand. A little trickier, right? Maybe. For most of, how many of you are right-handed? Oh yeah, this is going to be tricky. Okay. So, left hand. You've got straight hand, and then we go to a little hook, fist, and then straighten your fingers right out like a shelf. And then you're going to drop your shelf, and then come all the way straight up, right? So it's a hook, fist, shelf, drop the shelf, come all the way up. Now try and breathe while you do this. Hook, fist, shelf, drop the shelf, all the way up. One more time. Hook, fist, shelf, drop the shelf, and come all the way up. Excellent. Left hand. Got to give that hand a little hand. All right. Let's try it with both just to see. So we've got both hands together and we've got them straight up and we're just going to do a little bit of a hook. Now relax your neck. I see a lot of people like this. So we're not doing pull-ups, right? So we just want to drop the shoulders down. So we just have a little hook here and then little fist, shelf, going to drop the shelf and then come straight up. Hook, fist, shelf, drop the shelf, and all the way up. One more time. Hook, fist, shelf, drop the shelf, all the way up. Excellent. Shake that all out. Good, good, good. So we just got a little bit of different movement for the fingers and the hands, a little different connection with the brain as well. So let's take the right hand, right arm, sorry, we're going to bring it out. And the palm is going to be facing up, so as we're doing this movement. So if you need to bring it down here, if you've got a shoulder that's just kind of a little bit crabby, or if by bringing your arm up you find that you're leaning like this, I'm going to ask you to just kind of bring it a little bit lower. So this shouldn't be like too taxing. So from here, we're going to bend the elbow, and then you're going to bring your hand in like a little gooseneck, right? So you got like a little gooseneck, like, hello. I just got this vision of Sherry Lewis. Do you guys remember Sherry Lewis? Lamb chop. She used to, right? Oh my God, that's so weird. Okay, so you don't, I don't know how my brain works. Okay. So we're going to go from here, and then we're going to take this arm out, and we're going to extend the fingers down toward the floor, right? So that's a little bit of a stretch for this part of the arm and the median nerve that comes down here. So then we're going to bend and come back. So that is the movement. Got that? Good. Okay. So notice as you're doing this, as you bring your fingers down, when you have your arm extended, you should be feeling a good stretch here. If you're not feeling such a good stretch, we're going to add a little something to it, or if you want to increase the stretch, I should say. The next time that your hand is down, we're going to bring the ear, the right ear, toward the right shoulder. And then come up. Good. And breathe. Right? So the head moves with the arm, right? So the ear goes to the shoulder as we extend the arm down, and then as we come up, it's like we want to talk to little lamb chop there, right? So you got to bring your head up. Good. How about one more time like this? Excellent. Okay, release that arm. Let it roll down. Just roll the shoulder a little bit. We'll go to the other side. So same thing. We're going to extend the arm out so your palm is up and have your hand a little bit lower than your shoulder. And then we're going to bend. And so we've got the little gooseneck here, right? So here's my little puppet. I'm going to talk to my little puppet. I'm going to bring the arm out and bring that fingers down toward the floor, right? So it's just a little curling of the wrist. You might feel like this is like that little shelf movement, right? Okay. And then to add a little complexity for the arm, the next time that you have your arm extended and your fingers down, you're going to bring your left ear toward your left shoulder and then come all the way back up. And breathing in, breathing out. I haven't said that for a little bit, but that's what we want to be doing. Nice round breath in and out. Everybody seems to be doing great with this. Excellent. And how about one more? Good. And then relax that all the way down. Let's roll the shoulders a couple of times. So we're just kind of getting some movement here in the arm, a little bit of movement in the joints, a little they call it nerve gliding, just a little bit of tensioning and releasing in the median nerve there. So let's do this one more time on the right side, and we'll make it a little more challenging. Now, if this feels like it's too much for you, you can just go back to moving the arm like we've been doing. But what I'm going to have you do, let's start in the gooseneck position. So lower that shoulder down away from your ear, relax your jaw, relax your neck. We're going to extend the arm and at the same time bring your left ear to your left shoulder. Ooh, that's a good stretch. And then we're going to come back. So this is like we started with no movement of the head, then we added a little movement of the head in the same direction. Now we're moving the head in the opposite direction. This we've just titrated up. This should be the most sensation in your arm. And the next time that you're there, I'm going to ask you to hold it and breathe and bring your fingers toward the floor a little bit more if you can. Bring your left ear to your left shoulder a little bit more if you can. So you should be feeling a fair amount of sensation in that right arm somewhere or the neck somewhere, maybe even into the hand. And then next time you inhale, come all the way up. Let's take that hand back down to the lap. Take a moment and just notice. Maybe close your eyes. Notice the right side versus the left side. Nice breath in, let it out with a sigh. You can let your eyes open and then take your left arm and we'll start in that little gooseneck position again. So again, if this is too much, and it might have been okay on the other side, but maybe on this side your neck is not feeling like it's gonna be happy with this, you can keep your head right where it is, or you can bring your left ear to your left shoulder. But the way we're gonna do this is to extend the arm, bring the fingers down, and bring your right ear to your right shoulder, and then come back, right? So we're just kind of going through this nice and slow and really extending those fingers so you can feel what's happening in the arm. So we're just going to move in and out of this maybe one more time. Good. And now this time we're going to bring the fingers down and bring that right ear to the right shoulder and hold and breathe. And see if you can really get those fingers down. It's like you're trying to get the heel of your hand, like Spider-Man, trying to get right out through the heel of your hand. Breathing in, breathing out. Trying to get that right ear on the right shoulder. And again, just noticing where you're feeling it. Maybe in the hand, maybe in the fingers, maybe in the wrist, in the arm. And one more breath in, breath out. And then come all the way back up. And let's just take that hand back down to the lap. Close your eyes again. Breathing in, breathing out. Noticing the right side and the left side. Deep breath. Let it out with a sigh. Let your eyes gently open. Let's roll those shoulders forward, up, back, and down a couple more times. All right. Take your arms out in front. Bring your, before we do that, hold on one second. Bring your hands to your lap. I think this is a better way to go. Bring your feet a little wider than your hips. And then focusing, I think we did this last week, or it might have been 2 weeks ago, we were focusing on the space between your shoulder blades, like right in here, and about bringing the arms, bringing the shoulder blades back so that you're kind of squeezing those shoulder blades together. We're going to do that here as we come forward and arch the back a little bit. And then we're going to round through the back. So your hands are on your legs or on your knees. And this movement, you don't have to move your neck very much here. I mean, you can if you want, but this movement doesn't come from your neck. It's coming from your upper back. So is it easier to see it this way? Yeah, so you can see I'm really making that movement from the upper back, the upper spine. That's your thoracic spine. I'll go this way so the other side can see. So there's some arching in the lower back, but most of the movement I'm trying to focus it right up here in this upper back. We don't get a lot of natural movement. Most of us don't get a lot of natural movement there unless you're a rower. Anybody out here row on a regular basis? No? Okay. So you're not getting this movement then. You'd like to, yes. There you go. So the next time you squeeze those shoulder blades together, hold here. So really squeeze the shoulder blades together. Might feel a little uncomfortable, right? So you don't want your shoulders way up by your ears. You want those shoulder blades together. And then relax that. And let's try that again. So squeezing the shoulder blades together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And relax that. And one more time. So squeeze the shoulder blades together. Really squeeze. It's like you're trying to take the collarbones here and push them forward. And then relax. Good. So for most of us, when we feel tightness in the upper back, we do this. It's like, and the reality is, these are usually, the reason these are feeling so tight is because they're locked in a lengthened position. This posture, and this is a pretty big exaggeration, but this posture creates length here through these muscles, and then we stay in this position so they get so tight, when I go to straighten up, they don't know how to contract anymore. So really what we should be doing is teaching them, reteaching them how to contract by squeezing them together. It feels counterintuitive, but it actually is very helpful. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take the arms forward. So coming back to what I was going to do originally. And all we're going to do here, relaxing the shoulders, is we're going to take the right arm, sweep it out behind, Keep the left arm forward and just kind of twist as far as you can and then come back to center. So breathing in, breathing out. Now let this movement happen in that upper back first. So can you feel it between the shoulder blades when you bring the arm back behind you? I saw a couple of yeses. People are still trying to figure that out, right? That's okay. So see if you can get it in the shoulder blade first and then a little twist in the rest of the body. So again, it doesn't matter what your head does. Like your head can stay forward if you want. You can look in the same direction if you want. What we're really focusing on is that upper thoracic spine, so between the shoulder blades. Your thoracic spine, by the way, is just a fancy term for your spine that is attached to your ribs. So if there's a rib attached to your vertebrae, that is part of your thoracic spine. Okay, how about one more time on each side? Good. And the other side, and everybody's breathing. Good, and then relax that all the way down. Let your hands rest on your lap, close your eyes. Take some breaths in and out, and notice if you can really feel or sense that upper part of your back now. That space between your shoulder blades, maybe around your shoulder blades. Maybe it's feeling a little sore. Maybe it's just kind of awake. So again, we don't get a lot of natural movement up there. Take a nice breath in, let it out with a sigh. All right, let your eyes open. We're going to come right back down to the feet again. So looking down at your feet, have your tripods on the floor and lift up all your toes. So look down and see how far you can lift your toes. So are your big toes up off the floor? Are all the middle ones, are the BB toes up off the floor? Everybody's up, right? Okay, so but the tripods are on the floor, right? So if you're like this with the balls of your feet lifted, you want to get the balls of your feet down on the floor. And then press just your big toes down and keep all the others lifted. And then lift your big toes back up. So again, we're going to press down and lift up. Now if your knees are coming in like this, you're using your legs to do the work. You want to have your knees right over your ankles. So nice straight up and straight down. Breathing in, breathing out. Everybody's inhaling and exhaling a little more than just what's required, right? Good. So again, if the ball mounds of your feet, if this part of your foot is up off the floor, I'm going to ask you to put that down on the floor. So I don't want the knuckles lifted. It's just the toes. Okay. So we're still on the big toes, yeah? Okay. Next time you lift the big toes, I'm going to ask you to switch and press all the little toes down and then lift. And press all the little toes down and then lift. So the big toes stay lifted. Your breath is moving in and out. Your hands are probably helping a little, or they're clenching. Notice if your jaw is clenched. Notice if this is getting easier. So a lot of you have been doing this with me for quite some time. It maybe it's starting to feel a little easier. And then lift everybody up and lower everybody down. Good. That felt okay, yeah? So just as a curiosity, for those who've been doing this for a while now, are you finding it a little easier? Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. So bring all your toes up. So again, knuckles are on the floor, right? Okay, so we're going to take the right big toe and press it down, and take the left little toes and press them down. So your right little toes should be lifted, and your left big toe should be lifted, right? Your right big toe should be pressing down, and your left little toes should be pressing down. Got that? Okay, lift everybody up. All right, now we're going to press on the right all the little toes, and on the left just the big toe. Oh, yeah, this is kind of crazy, right? And then we're going to lift everybody up. So let's try that again. Right big toe, left little toes, and lift. And right little toes, left big toe, and lift. And that's fine? Is that what you said? Oh, it's harder. Yeah, I thought you were like, oh, that's fine. Because I can make it harder. We can do it harder. Take your right big toe down and your left little toes and lift. And then your right little toes and your left big toe and lift. All right, take a breath and relax your feet. Relax your jaw. Relax the death grip on your legs with your hands. All right, that was a little challenging, right? Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So now let's keep all the toes on the floor. Keep the tripods down. So tripods are always down when we're doing this, by the way, okay? So it doesn't matter how high you can lift or how far you can lower. It's really just about getting that movement. It's about getting that neuromuscular connection in your body. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to lift just the big toes and then lower them down. So all the little toes stay on the floor. We're just lifting and lowering just the big toes. And notice if they're a little more independent. Again, for those who've been doing this for a while, do you notice that they're maybe a little more independent? If your toes are crossed, it might be a little more challenging to do this, right? Okay, everybody got that? All right, so all the toes down, and now we're just going to hold the big toes down and lift all your little toes, and then lower. So we're lifting and lowering all the little toes. Now, if you look at your toes, you might notice that some of the little toes, lift higher than the others, right? And it's not always like the one that's closest to the big toe or the next one. Make sure your knees aren't coming in, by the way, when you're doing this. So no using your legs to do the work of your feet. We want the feet to be feet. We want the legs to be legs. Everybody doing okay? Pretty easy, right? The toes don't want to do it. I know. They're so stubborn and ornery, aren't they? They do. They do. All right. So relaxing the feet a little bit. Okay. So now let's try and change this up a little. So take your right big toe up and your left little toes up. So your right little toes are on the floor. Your left big toe is on the floor. Yeah? Okay. And then we're going to switch. So all the toes come down to the floor. We're going to take all the little toes on the right up and the big left toe up. And then place that back down. So big toe right, little toes left, and down, and little toes right, and big toe left. And if you don't know what the heck is going on down there, just don't worry about it. Lower that down. Right big toe up, left little toes, all the way down. Right little toes, left big toe, all the way down. Whew. All right, how's that feeling now? Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy, right? All right, how about we do this? Lift all your toes. Press the big toes down. Press the baby toes down, but none of the middle toes. Way easier on the brain to do this one than the last thing we just did. And then relax that and lower everything down again. Okay, so one more time. We're going to lift all the toes. So the knuckles stay on the floor. I'll say that again. And we're going to press the big toes down and the baby toes down, but none of the middle toes. And relax that. Good, 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 good. Let's come up and down on the toes. How was that? Better. Not better. Still frustrating as all get out, right? Yeah. Keep working on it. So, you know, the reason I spend so much time on feet is because this is our contact with life. Right? We walk around on our feet all the time. What happens in your feet translates up to your whole body. So that pain in your shoulder or that pain in your hip, you might be able to fix by changing your contact, by changing how you place your foot on the ground. But if your foot is just this block at the end of your leg, right? If it's just this thing that's in your shoe all the time, you don't get to appreciate. And when I say appreciate, I mean sensorially appreciate. You don't get to get the sensations of everything that your foot can do. You know, you have in your 2 feet, you have almost double the bones and joints that you have in your spine. And how much time do we spend working on the spine, right? We have a chiropractor for the spine. We have the doctor for the spine. We have MRIs of the spine. We rarely pay that much attention to our feet. And yet we're not walking around on our backs. we're walking around on our feet. So that's why I spend a lot of time there. Our balance is super important, and you can't have good balance unless you have good sensory perception in your feet. If you don't have that, you're not going to ever be able to balance very well. Okay, so scoot over to the right side a little bit. And when you scoot over to the right side, heel and toe your right foot way out. Walk it as far away from your body as it'll go and extend that leg. So that may mean you're on the inside of your foot. You might have your foot pointed away from you. It doesn't really matter. However you can get that, you want to get your big toe, or you want to get your toes rather, as far away from the chair as you can. Right? So use your toes if you can and stretch that leg out. Now when you get your foot out there, strengthen all the muscles in this leg all the way up. Right? So the knee is straight and the muscles here are nice and strong. If your knee is bent, you won't be able to strengthen the muscles here in the thigh. So in order to have those muscles nice and strong, you have to have that knee straight. And now you're going to take your right hand and place it on the outside of your left leg or hip. And we're going to take the left hand, walk it around to the back of your chair. So sit up really nice and tall, pull your belly in, and then see if you can twist a little bit to the left. And then you're just going to come back from that twist, right? So keep the leg extended. So the leg is your anchor point. So we're not going to change that. As we breathe in, we're going to do this with a breath in and out. So we're going to take a breath in and lengthen through the spine. And then as you exhale, you're going to twist to the left. Breathe in and come back to center. Breathe out and twist to the left. Breathe in, come back to center. Breathe out and twist to the left. And one more time, breathe in, come back to center. Breathe out and twist to the left and hold. And see if you can breathe here. So you don't want to be pushing into your hand or pulling with your left hand. In other words, you're not trying to force yourself into a twist. This is just, you're using your hand sort of as a guide here. Your spine is nice and tall, and you're just twisting as best you can here. Feel the length. Your foot is still trying to get as far away from the chair as it can go, and you're just twisting in the opposite direction. And with your next exhale, you're going to slowly unwind from that. Come all the way back. Now see if you can keep your leg fairly straight and walk it to the front of your chair. Now as you get here, you're going to have to slide over. Keep that leg fairly straight. Try not to bend the knee. So we're bringing that foot way out, way out. Okay? So now your toes, you're trying to walk your toes as far away from the chair as you can. Hold on to your chair, because this is where you could slide right off the front of that hill there. Right? Okay. So from here, if you can get your toes on the floor, that's fine. Some people are not going to get the toes on the floor because the ankle is just not going to allow that, and that's okay. So if your toes are up like this, just keep reaching them, right? You want this leg really strong, so no bend in the knee. You want the muscles here in the leg really strong. And now squeeze your shoulder blades together. So you kind of, actually take your hands, slide them back to the back part of your chair, and now squeeze your shoulder blades together, right? And as you're squeezing your shoulder blades together, we're going to try and lift the chest up. Keep reaching the toes forward. Breathe in, breathe out. And then relax that a little bit. Right? And then again, squeeze the shoulder blades, lift through the chest, and relax. So don't let your head go way back. So we're not doing it. This is not a neck movement. This is a thoracic region movement. This is your rib cage, right? So squeezing and then coming back. And just one more time. So really pull the toes as far away as you can. Lift up through the chest and relax. Good. Now come forward, bend that knee. Bring the feet close together. Close your eyes. Let your hands rest on your lap for a moment. Just notice the right side and the left side. Breath in. Let it out with a sigh. Eyes open, and then scoot over to the left side a little bit. So we're going to take this left leg now, same thing. We're going to walk it out and as far away from the chair as it'll go. So get that leg really long. You want to get that leg as long as it can go. Scoot your toes or scrunch your toes or whatever you can to get them as far away as you can. Get this leg nice and straight. So again, if your heel, if your toes don't come to the floor, if you've got your heel on the floor and your toes are like up here, that's fine. We're going to engage these leg muscles here, okay? All right. So once again, just like we did on the other side, the inhale is lengthening through your spine, and with the exhale, we're just going to twist to the right. Inhale, come back to center and lengthen the spine. So you want to be as tall as you can before you twist, and then as you exhale, you're twisting to the right. Breathing in, come back to center. Breathing out and twist to the right. Keep those toes reaching away from you. Breathe into center. That leg is nice and strong. Breathe out to the right. And one more time, breathe into center. Breathe out into the right. Let's just hold here for a breath. Maybe 2. So that leg is nice and strong. That left leg is nice and strong. You're in your little twist here. Good, and then come back to center. Excellent. So give a little bit of relaxation into that left leg, but keep it long if you can, and use your heel and your toes. Walk it back, and at the same time, slide yourself back to the center of your chair. Not very graceful, but that's just how we're doing it. That's all right. We don't get points for beauty. All right, so that leg is lengthened, right? You're trying to walk your toes like as far away from the chair as they'll go. Slide your hands to the back of your chair. So both hands, one on either side. And then coming into the upper back, right? So where the shoulder blades are, you're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together and lift the chest forward and keep working the toes forward a little bit. And then relax the upper body. Good. And again, we're squeezing the shoulder blades together. Try not to let your neck extend, right? So we don't want to have the head lifting up. We don't want to be putting that stress on the neck. This is really about the upper back. And relaxing, and one more time. Looks really good. This is not a lot of movement, you guys. Just so you know, if you're thinking, wow, I'm not getting a lot of movement here, that's okay, because there's generally not a lot of movement in this part of the body. And then relax. Good. Let's bring that foot in. Excellent. How about we take the right leg, cross it on top of the left leg. Good. Do just another little twisting movement here. So I think, was it last week we were working with getting the outside of the foot to the leg? Let's try that again this week. So take your left foot and walk it over to the left. And then see if you can get the outside of your right foot to touch somewhere on that lower leg, right? So for some people it's going to be up here on the bone, on the outside leg bone, by the way, is your fibula. So you got 2 bones here. You got your tibia in the front, and then you got your fibula on the side. So your little toe is kind of fibula. And even if you're down to your ankle, like if you can get down to your ankle bone, that's your ankle bone on the outside is actually the outside of your fibula. So some of you might be able to wrap your foot around that leg. Some can just kind of keep the foot there. So we're all made a little different. So part of this is the stuff we can work on, which is the muscles and the tissues and the soft tissue of your body. Some of it's the hardscape. So some of us have bones that are a little closer together in the lower part of the leg or in the ankle and won't ever allow us to do that kind of movement of wrapping the foot. And that's okay. So we work with what we've got. So now if you've got your foot touching your leg or you've got your foot wrapped around your leg, I'm going to ask you to just walk that back over to the right a little bit. As soon as the right foot loses contact with the left leg, you've gone far enough, right? So for some people, that's going to be like a little bit over into the right side. For some people, it's going to be a step and a half, and I've lost contact with that, right? So you're sitting up nice and tall. Yeah, good. Excellent. And then just for fun, everybody's having fun anyway, but we'll have even more fun. So see if you can take your arms and cross your right elbow on top of your left elbow. You got that? Bend your arms and bring your hands to your shoulders. How's everybody doing with that? Good. So you got your elbow on top of your elbow. Yeah? All right. So if you want a little more, for those who want a little more, take your hands up and see if you can take hold of your right wrist with your left hand. Oh my God, it's origami. Right? Yeah, that looks great, everybody. That looks great. Now, if that's just not working, this is fine. This is absolutely fine. Okay. Are you breathing? There's that part, right? Okay. And then relax your arms. Okay, we're going to walk that back out to the left again. Unwrap this right leg in whatever way you can. Give it a moment, right? So it's going to take a moment for that leg to go, okay, I think I'm a leg again, not a pretzel. Take your left leg now, cross it on top of your right. Same thing, we're going to walk the right foot. That's the one on the floor. We're going to walk that out to the right until you can get the outside of your left foot in contact with that right leg somewhere. So it doesn't matter where, somewhere. And if that's not possible, that's okay. Just do the best you can. Get out there. If your leg is still way up here, that's where you're at. So we're going to kind of lock that position in. So whether you're wrapped around, whether you're touching the outside of the leg, or whether your foot is way up here, you're going to lock that position in as you move that right leg over to the left. Now, as soon as the gap between your foot and your leg starts to grow, you've gone as far as you're going to go. So whether it's here, here, or here, right? Okay. Everybody good? Breathing in, breathing out. Easier on this side? Harder on this side? Kind of cool. All right, take your arms. Let's cross left elbow on top of right right elbow. Nope. I did say it right the first time, right? Okay, yeah, left elbow on top of right elbow. Okay. Left. When we're all twisted like this, left from right is really hard, you guys. So bend your elbows now and bring your hands to your shoulders and notice how that feels. Okay. And for those who want to go full on eagle, right? See if you can take your right hand now and grab hold of your left arm, hand, whatever you can get there, right? Breathing in, breathing out. Maybe have one arm up and one on your shoulder. Good. So for those of you who have your hands all wrapped like this, can you lift your elbows up and keep your hands together? Oh, that's beautiful. Nice. How about 2 more breaths? And if you're here, just lift your arms up, right? So that's okay too. Breathing in, breathing out. Now you might notice, oh, I could do this on the other side. I can't do it on this side. Or I couldn't do it on the other side. I can do it on this side. And then relax the arms down. Ooh. Unwrap your arms. Walk that right leg over to the right a little bit. Unwrap the left. Foot comes down. Give it a little time. Maybe give a little massage here to the outsides of the legs. Maybe up into the hips or the back. Maybe those shoulders. Like if you were really wrapping the arms, give the shoulders a little bit of a, so your whole body might be saying, wow, we're really awake now. All right, and then you can get comfortable. So if that means sitting into the back of your chair, you can do that. If you want to sit up to the front of your chair, you can do that. We're just going to take a couple of minutes here just to kind of close. So if you want to close your eyes, and if having your eyes closed doesn't feel comfortable, just drop your gaze down at the floor. Take some breaths in and out. And as you press down into your feet, just notice the quality of the contact between your feet and the floor. And notice if you give a little more of a press into your feet, you can feel your leg muscles activate. And notice your hands. Where are they? Are they holding one another? Are they resting on your lap? And what's the quality of the contact between your hands and your body? And maybe pressing down into your hands or pressing one hand into the other if they're nested. Feel your arm muscles activate a little bit here. And then relaxing all that pressing into your feet, into your hands, just kind of rest in the body as it is right now. Bringing your attention up to the mind once again. So we checked in with the mind at the beginning of class. And picturing yourself sitting in the middle of an aquarium. And your thoughts are like fish. And you're just watching the fish go by. You're watching the thoughts swim by in your mind's eye. And notice if there's just a different relationship between you and your thoughts right now. So they might be the same thoughts, but perhaps they have a different effect when you think them. And then turning from your thoughts to your breath, notice the way air moves in and out of your body. Where do you expand and where do you contract as you breathe in and out? And in particular, in the upper part of your back, between your shoulder blades, can you feel movement there as you breathe in deeply and breathe out completely? So we did some focus work in this part of the body. Again, it's a part of the body that doesn't get a lot of attention unless it's hurting. So breathing in, feel the space between your shoulder blades grow, and breathing out, feel the space between your shoulder blades shrink a little bit. And then take your hands up to your chest, placing one on top of the other. Let's take a nice deep breath in here and let it out with a sigh. And then if you'd like, you can take your hands together and just give yourself a moment of appreciation, a moment of gratitude. And then if you'd like, open your eyes and just a little nod of gratitude or acknowledgement to all these wonderful people. Good. You're welcome. So I'll see you not next week or the week after, but I'll see you in 3, okay? All right. In 3 weeks. Yep. And they'll send out a robocall to remind you. So